Hello everyone, welcome to Tarot by Sherry. I'm Sherry, and what I want to look at today is that USAID case that's before the Supreme Court. On Friday, February 28th, the Supreme Court heard the arguments both for and against restoring the aid. So I'm curious just kind of where that's going to go. So let's... Okay, so USAID. The Supreme Court has taken this case up, and I'm just curious where, let's just get a base reading for what's going on with this. Where is it going to go? That kind of thing. And as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Where is this going? Okay, with that, Ace of Cups. This is going to be... the aid starts flowing. That is definitely the goal here. We definitely want the aid to start moving again, to start flowing again. The Justice card is absolutely with the Justice Department right now. It's for them to decide on that. Okay, let's see where it goes. Disappointment. This is, well, I'm going to do the whole reading. I just kind of want to show you the cards as I lay them out. This is someone who, this is kind of winning at all costs. So what is that? But what did they actually win? Fives are not real strong cards either. So they're change, they're conflict, but they're not real strong cards there. Acting irrational. That's just charging ahead, not thinking things through. Holding the money, which is, deciding how they're going to dole it out. What's interesting is that you've got the balance, the scales here, which is also in the Justice card. You've got the scales of justice here, and they're going to be deciding how this goes forward. So let's see. And the Tower card. Okay. Let me just kind of take a look here. Think of how I want to proceed forward here. Okay. With this, honestly, it looks as though the Supreme Court... we get good messages. The aid needs to start flowing. The Justice Department, are they going to do Trump a solid here? I don't think so. They're kind of like, this is all saying, you gotta, this has already been appropriate. These are funds that have already been appropriated by Congress. These payments have to start up again. This is somebody who they acted irrational. Turning those payments off, stopping those payments was a rash decision. They didn't think things through. They didn't think about who they were hurting. And when that decision comes out, you get the Tower card. Honestly, I was a little concerned that this is... So let's get a little bit more clarity. I have a feeling I know what that Tower card is. I just want a little bit more clarity on that before I say what I think that is. The Tower card, I will say, it's the shit hitting the fan card. If you've seen previous readings, I consistently get this as it relates to the Trump-Musk administration. So this is, this does not bode well for what the outcome of this is. So let's see let's get a little bit more clarity on that Tower card. And with that, looking at this, it looks as though the Supreme Court is going to say you have to start these payments again. And once again, you get this wishy-washy, this is like, it's vague, it's up in the air, they're going to, it's like the answers are there, but they're not being honest with those answers. The answers are hidden. And they're just not, it's almost like, well, yeah, like they're telling everybody, oh yeah, we started, that aid is unfrozen. And the agencies are all like, no, it's not unfrozen. We still don't have payments and we still don't have access. Okay. So what happens whenever they still defy court orders? And let me pull this up. This is where we're going to start getting, if you guys have been watching Rachel Maddow, she's spot on as always. But we're kind of coming to that moment in our country where we as a country are going to see what happens when an administration defies the top court. what is going to happen. And I think that is kind of one of those, that's one of those signs. That's one of those big lines in the sand and what happens. And I think that this could be that case. And I have done kind of other readings that I haven't recorded, and I just get this feeling like the court has this decision to make. Now, I'm not talking about Thomas and Alito. Let's just, they're going to give Trump whatever he wants, so just forget those two, okay? I'm talking about the rest of the court. And, I can't even imagine what it would be like being a judge knowing that, one, your oath is to uphold the law and the Constitution. But two, to do that, are you creating a constitutional crisis? And so that has to be weighing heavily on them of what do we do? How are we going to enforce this? Now, is that going to be going into their thought process? It shouldn't. It should just be, this is the law. This is what you have to do. So with that being said, let's just see where does it go from here? And if it's not this case, there is going to be a time. It's showing very quickly, and there's a few cases before them, even though I was asking specifically about the USAID. What happens whenever Trump starts defying the Supreme Court? And so with this, it looks as though, you get that the Supreme Court is going to rule against him. And the Tower card, it just all, there's, the Tower card is it's probably the harshest card in the deck. I mean, it's just, it's a difficult card. And these three cards here, let's hold those up, they're going to say, the administration, we're going to say whatever we want. There's other things going on behind the scenes, and we're just not going to tell anybody about it. So they're not going to take well to these restrictions either, that is going to be placed on them. So what happens? Where do we go from here? If they're going to defy the Supreme Court, and I think that is the question everybody is asking, whether it's, what happens when the Trump administration defies a Supreme Court order? What happens? Holding off. This is a card of being of reserve. This is messages. Knights are changes. Wands, I always get this as messaging. And so it's like taking a moment. We're going to pause. And this is not someone racing into battle. Let's put it that way. This is one of just like, we have to think about what we're going to do. We're not going to do anything rash. That would be the Knight of Swords, is rash. Page of Wands, messages. Again, and it's interesting because I always get, these are those coders, and I'm getting this up around the USAID. So I wonder, what, and the world card. Let's see. Let me just take a second here and look at this real quick, because I was asking, like, what happens? And there's not anything like this isn't the I'm gonna put a little bit more clarity cards on those, because those are three cards. As I said, this is someone not racing. This is not anything rash. It's almost this feeling of like, we kind of are expecting it. I'm going to say that with the world card, but a message, knights usher in change. These are also not strong messaging cards. It's kind of like, surely, like, no one says, oh, well, it's okay, you can just not do that. You can just not do what the Supreme Court says. It'll all be fine. That's almost the feeling I get with this of like, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to do that. We're just going to do our own thing. But thanks for the input. So let's get a little bit more clarity on these three cards here. What exactly is this? Like, if they start defying Supreme Court orders, what exactly is this? Being attacked from all directions. Nine of Swords, restrictions, but this is also anxiety, stress. A lot of anxiety, stress, what's going on here. Someone who, Knight of Cups, a lot of knights are coming up here. And this is emotional messages. I almost get this feeling like I almost get this feeling with these cards is like, even if the Supreme Court comes out against them, this administration is like, meh, whatever. Like, that doesn't affect us. Whatever. Thanks for the input, but we're gonna do our own thing. You know, thanks for your service. We don't need that. We don't need to listen to that. It's kind of the feeling I get, and that they're so kind of just, yeah, like shrug their shoulders. That's the feeling I get with those cards. It's just like, whatever. So I don't think the rest of the world, the country, is going to feel quite that way, especially the Supreme Court. You know, in previous readings, I got that the Supreme Court is really kind of, they're wanting to preserve their relevance in the checks and balances. I would like to think, it was really interesting that reading that I did earlier on the Supreme Court came out that, you know, they want to preserve their relevance in the checks and balances. Not as much, I mean, it came up more that. I mean, it should be, you know, upholding the law, and maybe that's just a given. Like, yes, we're going to uphold the law, you know, for our relevance. But the messaging more was, you know, we've kind of created a monster here, because what happens if he defies the Supreme Court? Well, they have said he has presidential immunity and everything for any official act. And then he'll just pardon himself, and he'll pardon Musk, and then what? You know, and it's always that, and then what? You know, and it's that next step that, you know, as like trying to see past that. So what happens next? That's kind of like what I'm trying to get at with these readings here. So what happens after this? Those just went everywhere. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, what happens if he starts defying the courts, the Supreme Court? Okay, and with that, here is, you know, Mad King Don, Emperor. Not a real strong position, though. Knights, once again, Knights changes messaging. This is kind of like, they're not it's not a real strong card. This is crossing him. It's like the messaging isn't real strong here. Toxicity, toxic relationship, lies, you know, the message of lies. It's like if this is all built on lies. Fool, the Fool card. And I'm kind of almost seeing this, since this relates to Trump, I see this literally as the Fool is the foundation here. This should be one of patience, but as it relates to Trump, this is someone who's not. This is someone who is definitely being irrational. That's going to be as it relates here to, you know, this is not a happy patience card. This is especially whenever it comes up so close here, and these are major arcana cards. Toxic, you know, and irrational. That's kind of what we got going on here. And the Fool card. Okay. That one, the Fool, that's pretty self-explanatory. And Two of Wands, telling people whatever they want to hear. This is like, I'm going to do whatever I want. So where does it go from there? Very quickly, it's like very quickly, and then things are hidden. That's, you know, answers. There's answers here, but once it's also vague. These are two very vague cards. The Justice is at the. It's almost like we don't know what to do. We're not quite sure where we go from here. And the Wheel of Fortune, the wheel keeps turning. The country keeps going forward. We still are a country of laws and justice. So even though it's kind of like really vague right now. So like the Wheel of Fortune, where does that go? How does that... This is one of taking a step back before you make decisions. This is resting up before battle. Taking a moment, looking at all of your options. Victory. Going forward. And another 5, conflict, moving through the conflict, moving past this. You know, it's almost like this. I'm going to pull this up. I'm not exactly sure. And if somebody knows what repercussions the Supreme Court has if their rulings aren't followed, that'd be great. I mean, I've been searching everywhere. It's like, and you know, even I like to watch The Bulwark and George Conway, and you know, his answer seems to be like whenever if they start defying court orders, our only repercussion is for people to take to the streets. So I have a feeling that maybe let's hope there's something before that. Before that happens, before, you know, we really have to, you know, do the protests even. I mean, we're going to have to protest even more. So what, but the Supreme Court, do they have any repercussions? What is it that they do if this happens? Let's just ask base reading. What happens? Okay. And with that, you know, what happens? Justice being served. And once again, sword of truth. Okay. Action being taken. The Sun card, everything comes out to light, in the light. Love this card. We all know what this means. Controlling the orange beast. All I'm doing is just describing what the card is. The woman, our country, is overcoming and controlling the beast here. So, heavy burden. It's been a struggle to get to where we're at. I mean, as far as, you know, it's a struggle to move past this. This is the weight of the situation. And 5 of Pentacles. I think this is almost like the people have had enough. You know, enough has been taken from us. They're trying to hold all the cards. They're trying to hold all of the money. And the people aren't going to stand for it. This is gearing, you know, these are people that are, they're tired. They're weary. It's all, I would say that this almost feels like someone who feels defeated. But the 5 is one of constant change. This is a temporary moment. This is not anything that is long lasting. Okay, so yeah, it's almost like the people, the truth comes out. The truth about this situation comes out. And I wonder if the burden is on Trump and Musk. If the tables are going to be flipped and they're the ones feeling left out in the cold here. Let's see, is that, boy, wouldn't that be quite the change if the role reversal there. What is this 5 of Pentacles? You know, I'm not going to be, it wouldn't surprise me if this is not them. This is, I almost feel like, I'm feeling like this is the Queen of Cups. This very well could be just represents our country. Who are we? What do we stand for? This is always my yes card. So, messages. And also, with this, it's like this is a person who's in a better position of power than this person. This person is not in a real strong position. They thought they had everything, but then somebody comes along and says, no, you do not. So, yeah, I just kind of want to come back to this right here. It really does look like the Justice card, you know, the Sword of Truth here with the Sun card. The truth comes out, and that they're going to be the ones left wanting. That's really what this is. So I'm going to pull this up here right now. I will say that I almost have to laugh because I do readings, you know, just for myself here at home. And I have asked that question every which way. I can ask that question of what happens. What happens when he defies court orders? And it doesn't, I mean, I leave it open. Like, what happens if he defies any court order? And I don't get a specific answer. I don't get like, well, you know, here's the protocol, you know, here's your, you know, how do you fight fascism, you know, list of, you know, A, B, C, and D. What I'm getting is that the truth, and I get this consistently, the truth is gonna come out, and that we are moving past this. That, you know, right now we are in that 5 energy, which is real interesting because I'm working on a numerology and tarot reading for the United States, and you're going to find that 5 energy, spoilers, 5 energy is coming up with that. So, yeah, 5s are not real strong. I mean, it sucks to be in it, but 5s are, it's not a 4, it's not balanced, and it's not 6 balanced. It's this state of, you know, kind of that crunchy energy of like, we're not comfortable. We want it to be, you know, like, we want it to be stable. And that is kind of what I'm getting, where it's like where we're at right now. I get it. Watching the news can be terrifying. And, you know, we come, and that's what I want to do here. I want to unpack this stuff. I want to look at it and be like, okay, this is kind of this is what we're looking at. This is the energy that we're in. And so, you know, we can all attest that 5 energy sucks. But there's a lot of hope here. There's a lot of movement here. And it's kind of like when he defies courts, that's just like that one more step towards us the truth coming out. The truth, you know, it's like justice and truth. I always get that coming out as that is our path forward. So I'm not getting anything more specific than that. I will keep asking, because if anything, I am persistent. So I'll keep asking the questions, and we'll just keep seeing what comes up with that. But right now, just know that the truth is going to come out. Keep up the good work with, you know, showing the resistance and the protests in the ways that you choose. I'm going to be curious to see what the outcome of the economic blackout is going to be. Maybe that'll be a question I ask. So thank you for tuning in. Just in case I didn't say it, for entertainment purposes only. And like, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. And I will catch you on the next video. Thank you. Have a great day.